like I mean, we're
Bubbles.
just like you. Like we've all
Get
had,
big bubbles for everybody to walk
you
around
get
in.
those rounds where it hits the whole house and it's
Mm.
just chaos for several days, and
This is better. This time was
man,
better than
do whatever
yeah,
do
this
whatever
time
we
was
got to
better
do to
than the
avoid
last
it.
time. The last time it was
Yeah.
spaced out like one kid a day or every other day. So it took a whole week to get through the whole house.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Yesterday,
Yeah.
Cannon had it Monday. Yesterday, everybody got it except for me. Every couple hours, somebody new started feeling sick.
Mhm.
And so it was like everybody, like, okay, we're like synchronized here. Like everybody's getting better. And I'm over here just like
Mhm.
dodging, just ready to like, yeah,
When's
just
it gonna
fighting
happen?
it off. And every time my stomach grumbles, I'm like, oh no. I'm like, no, you're fine. You're fine. Don't panic. It's okay.
Yeah, I haven't eaten
Yeah.
8
Okay.
hours, it's fine, I'm just hungry, not a
Am I?
big deal.
Yeah, no, I'm good. Oh, I think so. Anyway, I'm just
The last one that hit our house, as soon as Heather was the first one to start feeling bad, and she was the only one because as soon as she started feeling bad, we locked her in the room, and me and the
Yeah,
kids,
hell yeah, that's what
we
I should be
stayed in
doing.
we went to the other we stayed in the
Quarantine.
other part of the house, and, uh, I'd pass her the baby when the baby needed to be fed, and so, like, that
mm,
was, like, the only contact that we had for, like, 24 hours.
yeah.
That's actually pretty
So
smart.
we stomped that one out, but
Well, you did just stuff all that hay below your house, Logan, you could just move
I
in
could
down
just
there for a
move
day
in
or
down there.
2.
I thought about just putting a little fold out couch out here in my office, and I just chill out here. I got the heater plugged
Yeah, why
in.
not?
I got a TV. I got my.
Sleep,
I'm-
get up, get
If
a pump, get some
if
curls
she did not
in.
expect me in the house, I wouldn't go in the house. I would just stay out here. I would get a little coffee maker
Yeah,
out
mhm.
here, and
good.
I
Hell
intentionally have
yeah.
not put it
Got a little
exactly.
apartment.
I've intentionally not put a coffee maker in here because I already tend to
You
just
never leave.
not stop, like start at 5 in the morning and just keep going.
Yeah.
And if I had a coffee pot and some snacks out here, I I would never. I
You
would,
wouldn't go in.
Get your
yeah,
little hot plate
I
out
wouldn't,
there. Oh, you'd be set.
I would not leave. That is for sure. And it's yeah. Anyway, so
I'm so stoked to get mine done because I envy that. I want to go to a space where I can just like
yeah,
nobody
yeah,
bothers me. I can be
Mhm.
quiet. I can have
yeah,
all my stuff there. Can work. I'm like this
yeah.
close to
It's
having my
looking
garage
so
done.
good,
This
man.
close.
It's
So I'm fired up.
looking so good.
I'm not gonna lie, from a distance, like when you look at it as a whole, it
Mhm.
looks awesome. But when you look at it up close, man, there are some spots
That's
that I'm like,
dude.
ooh, I don't know how
That's
to fix
mine.
that.
I've seen the videos, and yours is like the brand name garage. Mine is like the great value version. You know what I'm saying? Like Doug got like the
Timu.
real nice like tin, like they're squares and they're brand new. Like you guys can look and see over here by where I do my pull ups. That
I
white
love it
stuff
though.
right
Yours
there,
is great.
that's actual bird poop. The other day
It's
I
shit.
was doing pull ups, and I was like, "There's a big
Yours is
it literally
off the
is. I
side of
got
a
it for like
barn.
$1 a foot from a guy, and I bought a bunch of tin. And I was like, I was in such a hurry to get this done and so excited about it. I'm like, I'm not even washing it off. I don't care. And I just like brought it in and
I
put
don't
it
care.
up. So I've got I mean, I like to use the word authentic, but I think great value version is probably a little bit more accurate. So
I like it. You did get it done very fast. You had that thing thrown together in
yeah,
like
well,
2.5 days.
when I decide to do something, that's my fault. It's a good thing. It's also a bad thing because when I decide to do
Yeah.
something,
It is.
I'm
Agreed.
ADHD is funny like that.
It is.
yeah, that's fair. I get it. I do the things and I don't do them well sometimes, but they're done. So anyway, here we are.
Yeah,
Here we are. Yeah, your garage is
that's
gonna be great.
awesome.
It's also 3 times the
Dude,
size of mine.
yeah, I'm pumped. Yeah, I'm excited. It has been an absolute wreck for the last 2 months. So starting to come together and look like an actual place I'm going to be able to do some stuff in, which is sweet. Just in time for spring. Dude, it's been 50 degrees here in the
Mhm.
afternoons. It is wild. And I am so scared because I think this means that we're going to get this like,
Yeah,
hey, where it's
this
kind of
is
Yeah.
false
coming, but
spring.
yeah, I am
Yeah.
about to just dump and get cold for a
Hmm.
couple months. So
Yeah.
hopefully, well, honestly, we could use some more snow. We're pretty dry around here, so that would be good for the summer. But it's been a nice little reprieve from the -30 and -40 we've been going through. And I've been outside in t-shirt, shooting my bow a little bit, doing some outside stuff in the afternoons, which feels good, man. I forget how much I miss sunlight during the winter.
Dude, the effect that it has on your mental state is
It messes me
insane.
up.
It's
Bad.
like I texted you guys the other day. I went to the river. That was our first 60-degree day, and we've had. I think today will be the third one in a row. But like, I was like, I have to go. Like, I have to because,
Yeah.
and I
Losing my
felt
mind.
that you feel like a totally different person after going out and just being in the sunshine for a little while, especially when you've
Mm.
been cooped up and had
Makes
cabin
all the
fever for a
difference.
minute.
All
But
the difference, man.
yeah,
And it
it's a
literally makes
huge
you
game changer.
Yes.
happier. After
Mhm.
10
Mm,
minutes of being in it, I'm just like
mm.
in a better mood. I feel better
Yeah.
about life. This was awesome. So I've been enjoying it. It's been great little reprieve. And um, man, I've been getting a ton of questions from girls. And I think it's because New Year's resolution type things are coming up. People have their mind is on it. But lots of women reaching out and asking questions about how do
Mm.
I tone up? And I Side note, I hate that word toning up because it is such it does not mean
Toning
what
is
you
for
think it
pinners.
means. It's more yeah, exactly. But building muscle is how you quote unquote tone. Building lean mass and burning body fat is how you get this toned look. And it always cracks me up because they'll look at a girl in a magazine or on Instagram or something, but I want to look like her. Okay, cool. What do you think she does? She probably runs a
Mhm.
lot and eats very little and doesn't touch weights because that you can't look like that if you touch weights. And it's like the
Mm.
complete opposite, right? We have this totally messed up outlook on, well, especially for women about what they should be doing in order to achieve that look that they want. And I think today's episode we should just make about will lifting weights make
Mm.
women bulky?
Mhm.
And we hear that a lot. How many times have you heard that from potential clients or current clients that are females? Like,
Bro,
it's the thing.
can't count.
It's yeah, it's every single one of them. And hey, let's not forget about the
I
bull
was gonna
riders. They
say,
sound like
I
that
was
too
gonna
every
say
now and
during
then.
this
Yeah.
episode, if you're listening and you're a bull
Yeah.
rider, every time we say women, girl, she, just insert
Yeah,
yourself.
this
You can
also
just go ahead and
applies to
say
you.
insert yourself in that, not because you are a woman, but because you have
We don't
this.
have to we don't
Yeah,
have to
you
make
have
this
the
gender
same
specific.
Yeah,
It
misconceptions.
definitely
Typically, that's exactly
definitely
right. So,
applies.
yeah.
Yeah.
no, and that's
Yeah.
we're just joking around, but wait, wham! I hear that from so many bull riders and rough stock riders
Mhm.
all around. You'll hear that from.
Yeah.
I don't want to get too heavy. I can't be too bulky. It's like, dude, you don't even know what it would take to make you bulky. And same
Mhm.
on the other side, females.
That's a level of work that you're not willing to put
Yeah,
in. Like,
you have got to exactly. You've got to work hard and eat a lot and be dialed in to gain weight and to gain muscle. And in the same sense, like you got to be dialed in
Mm.
to get leaner or to increase your lean mass and decrease your body fat percentage to achieve that quote unquote toned look that most women are after. Um, what what are some reasons, like over general reasons that women should lift weights?
You know, I one of the things that I typically find when I'm doing consults and people are talking, specifically, typically, a rodeo mom I'm talking to about wants what she wants is she wants this lean figure, right, and to have good posture. And typically they think that to get that they need to do a lot of cardio, when really the answer to good posture and a leaner figure and the shapes that they want is lifting weights, like adding lean tissue,
Mhm.
decreasing
mhm.
body fat percentage by adding lean tissue is the answer. That's one of the things that usually comes up on a consult for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why
I
do
mean,
you
be
sorry, why Logan, why would so instead of cardio, what are the what is the comparison? Why
Mm.
would resistance training compared to that cardio be a better effect for them? And we've talked about
Yeah.
this a lot on the show, but I think
No,
you
that's
already
a
know.
great
Go ahead.
question. And typically, what happens in cardio is that we get on the treadmill and maybe you hop on for an hour and say you burn 300 calories. And that's all well and good. That's 300 calories that you burn for the day. As long as you do that every day for the next 70 years, then you'll continue to burn 300 calories a day. And that's at some point in time, you're going to get to a spot where your body adapts to this new energy demand. She's going to go burn an extra
Mhm.
300 calories today, so your metabolism will slow a little bit because of that. It will take that into account. Or the flip side is resistance training. We can go in and spend an hour, just say, I mean, it can be less, but just say an hour building lean tissue, building muscle. You're not going to look like a female version of Arnold, but we are going to add some lean tissue. And what you'll find is that a pound of a pound of muscle versus a pound of body fat, it actually requires more calories just to
Mhm.
maintain. Muscle is more expensive when it comes to calories. So the more muscle that you have, the more calories that you naturally burn. So after 6 months or a year and a half, we'll get to the spot if you're consistent and your diet looks good, which we'll get into, that you'll actually burn those extra 300 calories throughout the day naturally without having to get on the treadmill to do that. And so it's a way for you to increase your
Mhm.
metabolism and get your calorie burn going naturally while you sleep. You'll burn extra calories in your sleep because of the lean
Mhm.
tissue that you're carrying around.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
We kind of like to complement that a little bit. Like the figure that I think you said lean figure initially. We're in like the age of fitness
Mm,
models. You know what I mean? Like before it was like, in the 90s, early 2000s, like I feel like Victoria's Secret models was kind of the thing that women looked up to.
And all
Now it's
they did
starting to
was
shift to
blow
be
and smoke
like
cigarettes. So
yeah, so like they're like unrealistically thin and now but now like the strong figure is kind of like, what women are looking at and what they want to desire, but they still have the mindset that like
mm,
lifting weights isn't going to get them there. Like I had a conversation with a girl one time. She's like, I want to look like this so and so girl, and she told me her Instagram handle. So I like went to go look her up, and she's like, but I'm not gonna lift heavy weights. Like I'm just not gonna do that. And then I look at this girl. I'm scrolling through her feed, the fitness model she told me about. This lady's deadlifting like 410 pounds. I'm
yeah,
like,
dude.
okay, so until you start deadlifting 410 pounds, odds are you're not going to look like her because
Or even
she
making it your
developed
goal,
this
you know?
physique
mm,
through this process.
Yeah,
And like, if you're not going to do what she's doing, you're not going to get the
mm.
results that she's getting.
exactly.
And so there's still a disconnect behind like the ideal physique that people generally want and the work that it takes to actually achieve that look.
Absolutely. And when we start talking about one of you guys mentioned like for rodeo moms, we talk to a lot of moms that have young athletes that are competing and they want to better themselves, get healthier, get fitter, get leaner, whatever it is. Um, and the benefits in life after competition that resistance
Mm,
training gives you are huge. And first thing I'm talking about is the mental benefit. My mood is so much better when I am doing resistance training or any kind of exercise, right? It makes me feel way better. My attack the day different. I feel more confident in what I'm doing in my day to day life. I don't have to think about any of my extracurricular activities I want to go do. I know that I'm strong enough and fit enough to go enjoy life and not have to think about it. Other thing is, as we get older, our bones get weaker, our joints get weaker, our ligaments get weaker. And without that constant attention to them through resistance training, we're only going to continually decline in that
Mm-hmm.
sense as we get older. We can reverse that with resistance training. We can totally extend the longevity of everything that I just mentioned through simply resistance training, which is so cool. Think about, man, I think about like even older parents now. I have some friends that have older parents or grandparents that have broken a hip or, blown a knee out doing something silly, taking a step down a stairs or just misstepped and fell. Resistance training is a
mm.
great way to increase that BMD, our bone mass density, our bone mineral density, and then again, going to make you stronger and more able to do things for the rest of your life, which is in my mind the ultimate goal. Yes, it's awesome to look good and feel good and have the aesthetic values, but in the end game, we're doing this so we can be functional for our life for a
Mm-hmm.
long time. And I don't know about you, but like when I walk around downtown in different cities, different places, you see people that you don't want to end up like. And not to be mean, but like that's some of the stuff that drives me is seeing those kinds of situations in public and being like, I'm not going to do that. That will not be me. Like, why don't you put me down if
Well,
I get
dude,
to that point?
what?
I don't.
I 100% wait till you have kids and you
Yeah.
start going to your kids' birthday parties and you start looking around at the other guys that are your age, and it's like, man, how do we like how is that okay? What are you teaching your kids?
Mhm.
Like what I don't and don't get me wrong. I certainly do not shame people. I mean, everybody has had like life has happened to everybody and we've all made choices, right or wrong. And it's not that, but I look at some guys that are my age that are mid 30s and and that are in our community, and I'm like, man, I know I could help you. You know what I'm saying? Like, and your quality of life, we really don't know how bad we feel until we don't feel bad anymore because we do the things, and you look back and
Mhm.
it's just
That's
life,
huge.
and it's just aging, and it's just having kids, and I'm getting a little fat, and I'm not like, my memory isn't as sharp as it used to be, and I got all these aches and pains, and there's a lot of those things that we just attribute to life. It's not supposed to actually be like
Mhm.
that. It's actually our sedentary lifestyle that we have, and the fact that we're just playing on screens all the time. Anyway, there's a lot of factors that contribute, but I completely agree with you in that there's a lot of times where we have family get-togethers, or we're out and about in public, and I'm like, I wish you would, let me help you, because I know that I could make a huge difference.
Mhm. Absolutely. And kind of jumping back to uh, for the women in specific, let's talk about common mistakes that we see made
Mm,
with clients that we've had in the past, or um, clients we have now, that when they started, they were doing things incorrectly. And again, we are talking specifically to the girls right now, but I think this falls into the general population category and the things we're about to talk about. Uh, the first thing I'm going to think about is setting unrealistic expectations for yourself when you start this journey. And what I mean by that is, let's say you've haven't had any kind of fitness in your life for 10 plus years. You've got about 20 to 30 pounds to lose, and you're going to set a goal of being done with that in 6 months. That is a very
mhm,
common thing that we see. We see that all the time.
Mhm.
They think 6 months is a long time, which no doubt that's a long time to continuously work. But the way we have to look at this is, first of all, you haven't worked out in 10 plus years. It took 10 plus years to accumulate those 20 to 30 extra pounds that we have. Now, it's not going to take that long to come off if we're consistently working, but it damn sure ain't going to happen in 6 months, and that's not a
mm,
sustainable way to do it. Usually we see I've seen a lot of different styles of trying to lose weight. And when I was a younger coach and didn't know all the things I know now, we played with a lot of things that worked quickly, but they never lasted. And what I mean by that is
Mhm.
that, you'd put someone in a big deficit, they would eat very little, they would lose a ton of weight right off the bat. And then all of a sudden, 3 months later, not only have they put that weight back on, they put additional weight plus that back on. It's not sustainable, right? So changing the
Mhm.
lifestyle and making the expectations for yourself realistic is huge. And so what I think a good starting point would be is looking at this a couple few years extended journey. How can I change my lifestyle to be at this place in 2 to 3 years of happy, feeling good, healthy, being able to do
mm.
whatever I want to do? And that all comes with consistency and eating correctly and exercise. What's another common mistake you guys see?
Man, I think it hangs on that, the misconception that they don't need to lift weights, and so it's going to come from like just an over reliance on um increasing their activity level. So, whether that's and usually cardio.
Hmm.
I don't want to say over reliance on activity level, because actually that's probably, they probably
Mm,
undershoot that. Like, just
mm,
movement throughout the day is actually probably going to make a way bigger impact than a cardio session. But like, they'll go run for an hour on a treadmill, or go run for a road run, and be like, yeah, I did 3 miles today. Like, I'm doing it. And it's like, yeah, that's great. I mean, you're improving your cardiovascular health. Like, you might see some quick results here, but like we mentioned earlier, like that's gonna stop pretty quickly. And that's something that's hard to stick to. Like, you were mentioning the timeline earlier. Like, I feel like you'd be lucky if you had a client that had a 6-month timeline in their head when they
Oh yeah,
first
no, yeah, that
talk to
was
you. Usually it's a lot shorter.
yeah.
Usually it's like, oh, in 2 months or 3 months, I want to be like this. In 8 weeks, I want to be like this. It's like, ugh, like that's not going to happen. Like, we could make it happen, but
What do you think
like
is
you said
sustainable?
earlier,
Like on a weight loss, I would say 1 pound a week is a very
oh yeah, 1 pound a
sustainable.
week. Yeah, for sure. So
So
like,
we're
if you
looking
had
at a
20
month of
pounds to
four
lose,
pounds. Yeah,
20
we got.
pound, yeah, 20 weeks would be like, it could happen, but like, weight's probably going to fall off
fluctuate a
quickly at
little bit.
first, and
Yeah.
then it's gonna slow down a little bit. So like,
Mhm.
you give yours if you had 20 pounds to lose, I would give
Well,
yourself a little more than 20
because you got to
weeks
think about
at
the
the
season of
minimum
life too that they're in,
to
right? Like maybe they're starting in the wintertime and
exactly.
20 weeks. I mean, in 20 weeks, they're no longer going to be in the wintertime. Like, I mean, kids are in sports. They're, it's light till 9 o'clock. Life is
Mhm.
changing. And so, yeah, I completely agree. I mean, 1 pound a week is a great
I
goal,
can't
but
wait for
it's,
that.
yeah, yeah, you and me both, but it's definitely,
Light till
it's,
9 o'clock.
it's
I can't
definitely
wait.
going to fluctuate, and we have to make. That's why having a coach is helpful, because your coach can help you come up with a game plan for each season of life,
Yeah.
and we can help navigate. Maybe our winter workouts are 3 times a week for an hour, but then spring and summertime, maybe we have to shoot it back to 2 times a week for 30 minutes for a little bit, and then some mobility that you can do at home as opposed to going to the gym, whatever. But we've got to come up with a game plan to help you be sustainable. I completely agree. I think that
Mhm.
nutrition is a huge part of this as well. The
Yeah.
nutrition aspect
Yep.
is
Absolutely.
something that's super overlooked. And most times when I do some sort of consult with a client, or they start with me and we do a meal log and look over their calorie intake, it is dangerously low more often times than not. And
Mhm.
they, typically don't eat a whole lot. And then if they're wanting to lose weight, then they eat even less, and eventually it might work for a little bit, but then eventually it like we said, it slows. And it's not uncommon for me to get
Mhm.
started with somebody that's tracking food. I feel as though they're doing an accurate job tracking food, and they're eating 1,000 calories a day. And it's like, man, this is not
Mhm.
going to get you where you want to go in the long term, like you said, sustainability. And I think that understanding the importance of protein, understanding the importance of carbohydrates that have gotten a bad name, understanding the importance of dietary fats in our diet, and working slowly up to a healthy number of calories and setting a new kind of baseline, so that we can then we can go on a cut if we need to. But a lot of times, as we slowly reintroduce calories into somebody's diet, I don't know, probably 20% of the time, they actually like lose weight in that process. They're adding calories in,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and they start to lose a little
What
weight
is
in the
that?
process, and they're like, "What kind of magic is this?" And I'm like, "Well, you're just giving your body what it needs." And so
Mhm.
it's like, "Hey, I don't have to hold on to this body fat as much, because this asshole is going to feed me again pretty soon." Turns out when you only eat one meal a day,
Oh, yeah.
your body's holding on to everything it can. So
Body is stressed.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Your body is stressed out. It
I've got a
cannot work correctly when it's doing that. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
I've got a
Oh, what
I've
do you
got a nutrition story for you guys. So, my wife recently has started tracking her nutrition for the first time and I think forever. So, kind of what had been leading up to this is she doesn't have a gallbladder anymore. She had to get her gallbladder removed a couple years ago. They told her to go on a low fat diet. I think she did it for like a week or whatever, and then just said, whatever, like I'll just eat what I want again. So she started having like some skin issues, like when she'd wake up in the morning and like her skin would be like she'd have like almost
Hmm.
like hives, like kind of
Mhm.
like just blotchy. I was like, well, what have you been eating like on the days leading up to what's happening there? And she's like, well, I don't know. And I'm like, how do you not know? Because like
Yeah.
I pay attention to pretty much everything I eat. If something makes me feel bad, I'm not going to eat it again.
Mhm.
But like so for her, she was like, you know, she's like, I have no idea. And I was like, well, you probably should start tracking your nutrition, which is like a weekly conversation in our house.
Mhm.
And so finally I was like, she's like, well, what do I use? My Fitness Pal? And I was like, I said, use the first format. Like it's a lot cleaner. It's really easy to track. You have the barcode scanner and everything. And then it'll kind of like gamify it for you a little bit. And so she was asking me like what her inputs need to be and everything. So I gave her, her calories, and I said, like 2,200 calories, like that's when you're eating, cleaner food, like that's going to be a lot of volume. Like you're going to be pretty full throughout the day. And she's like, okay. And so day one, she was like, didn't change a whole lot. And then she saw the numbers on like how far off she was like on fat intake and how low her
Mhm.
protein intake was and stuff. And she was like, for the first time, she was like, whoa,
Mhm.
I see the problem now. And
Mhm.
so then she was like, looking up recipes and went grocery shopping and all this stuff. And so for like the last 4 days in a row, she's nailed her macros every single day. And so like no skin issues over the
Mhm.
last 4 days. I was like, okay, so like your liver is probably
Mhm.
overworking because you
Mhm.
don't have a gallbladder anymore. So like it's
Mhm.
producing this other symptom that you need to look at. And so that this came up because of this, like this potential liver problem in her fat intake. But now that she's tracking, it's going to be funny here in like 2 or 3 weeks. She's
Mhm.
going to step on the scale and she's going to be like, "Oh crap,
Oh, yeah.
I lost probably a lot of weight."
Yeah.
And then she's going to that'll be the lifestyle change. So it was almost like a byproduct. Like she had to kind of circle around to find it, and she's not there yet. She's only 5-6 days into this,
Yeah.
but she's
That's
already
awesome,
seeing
though.
the benefits. Like she feels better, she has better energy. Like
Oh, yeah.
it's pretty crazy how quickly tweaking your nutrition
Mhm.
can give you positive benefits.
Yeah, it's just like putting shitty gas opposed to good gas in your truck. You put the shitty gas in,
Exactly.
it's gonna sputter and putt the whole way down the road. You put the premium fuel in there, it's gonna run like a champ. It's the same exact thing. We have to fuel our bodies with that same sense. Dude, okay, I was thinking because first of all, being married or having a significant other as a coach is fucking
Mhm.
hard
It's
because
not
you have
it's
all
not
the
worked in
secrets
our
and they
house.
see it working with every other client you work with, but
Yeah.
it'll never ever work the same with your significant other because it's your significant other. And it's the same thing as
Mm,
your mom or dad saying it to you like, "Nope, I have an immediate objection to whatever you're going to say. I do not want to
yep.
listen." So, I love that I used gamify, but like that was perfect. That was exactly
Mhm.
what needed to happen because it let her see it with her own eyes and you stepped out. You gave her the tool and
Yep.
said, "Okay, I'm out." And it didn't take her but 48 hours to be like, "Ooh, I am okay. Yep. Husband was right. I'm never going to say that, but he was right. And I'm going to, I'm going
Yeah.
to keep doing these things." And she's already seeing the benefits. That's so cool,
Mhm.
man. Like that's what it's about is just being able to show someone the way. And then if they can take
Mm.
that initiative and do it, man, their whole life could be different, which is awesome. So good work on that. That's super cool. I love that story, man. That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
real. That's
Yeah.
super real. Um, we're going to keep this one short and sweet on this because like I said, Logan's got a house full of sick kids and he's got things to do. He's got to play Mr. Mom today. But just to wrap this up, girls, ladies, if you want to get leaner and look quote unquote toned,
Mm.
start lifting some weights. We're not saying not to do cardio, but let's put it, for instance, if you're someone that works out 3 times per week, instead of running all 3 days, let's introduce a resistance training
Mm.
twice a week and keep doing your
Mm.
cardio 1 day a week if that's something that you enjoy. Cardio is so important. It's so important for your cardiovascular health, your heart, for sure. But it's not going to get you solely is not going to get you to where you want aesthetically, if that is your goal to look more
Mhm.
toned. You need to add lean mass. So add some resistance training in, keep it simple. And biggest thing, if you don't know where to go, hire a coach. Find a resource, someone that can help you. There's all kinds of options. We have tons of options for every single person out
Mm.
there on the realm. Like whether you're someone that wants to pay $19 a month and just have a program that you know is there and will get you to where you want to be as long as you do it. Cool. Go download our Champion Living Fitness app. $19 a month. You have access to any of those plans you want. Um, it's dope. Demo videos, description. If you want to go a little further than that and want someone to really hold you accountable, our individualized coaching is hands down the best in the biz, if you ask me. We do an incredible job. We all make sure of it. We're constantly checking on each other, looking through each other's clients, check-ins, like holding each other at the highest level because that's what we want to do is provide the best service we can for our clients and our athletes. So reach out, get a free consult with us. Go to championlivingfitness.com, click the athlete sign up form. It's free. You get to talk to one of the coaches, get all your questions answered. We make sure we pair you with the right coach for you, and we put together a plan right there on the phone for you and show you, what the direction is going to be. So there's literally nothing you can lose there. Set up a free consult, see what we're about. Let's get some questions answered and get all the info to you. Guys, I did have a question from a listener that dropped in my messages on Instagram. I thought was pretty cool and could apply to a lot of life. But when you're yes, when you're feeling like when you're down, and he was talking about rodeo, I'm assuming, but when you're having a hard time, let me pull this up on my phone and not mess this up real quick. One second. Question was, when things aren't going well, how do you stay confident? And I
Ooh.
thought that was, I know he was talking about riding bucking horses, but man, that applies to so much in life. There's lots of times that things aren't going well, and it does applies to more rodeo. So I'll
Well,
let you guys go
I
first, and I'll wrap it up.
I
One
I
piece of
just I
advice?
had this conversation last night for 30 minutes with a client that has been really inconsistent this winter. I've had him for a couple years and he's been a great client, super consistent. Last summer, riding bucking horses specifically did not go well for him. And he's having a really hard time finding the motivation this year when he knocked it out of the park in the training and then didn't see the results. And
Mhm.
and so the advice that I gave him, keep it short and simple, was you have to be able to zoom out. and look at this season of life that is difficult for you over the course of your career or over the span of your life, if it's not rodeo related, how much does one summer really matter? It doesn't, right? And in fact, that's what
Right.
separates these hard times, or what separates the people that are great at what they do or make it through from those that don't. Because you get to this first drought and 40% of people quit. And then another year or two, you're going to get to another drought, the other 40% quit. You get another year or two after that, and then 10% quit. And what you're left with are the 10% that become elite at what they do. That's how you get there, is you freaking keep headbutting the wall, spit that blood out, and just keep whacking away, man. You just got to keep going, or decide that you're going to do something different. But if this is what you want, you got to embrace the suck and stop being a baby about it. Freaking pick your sucker up, wash it off, put it back in your mouth, and let's go.
What do you got, Paul?
No, it literally just echoes that. It's a numbers game. The ones that rise to the top outlast the other ones. And I'm not saying like just go get on more horses or whatever. If things are going wrong, maybe you have to go back to the drawing board for a second. But everybody has those hard times, the dry spells, the hard weeks, the hard months, even the hard years. Everybody's gone through it. And if they haven't, it just hasn't come yet, but they will. And if they can persevere and keep their chin up and keep going, like I said, it's a numbers game. Who can outlast?
And I always think about that quote, like hard times build hard people or tough people, and it will make you more resilient. It will make you stronger if you stick to the fundamentals of what you know and what got you there, whatever you're doing. So if we're talking about rodeo, I love that you said it's a numbers game, because it is. You need to go be able to get on a bunch, but also maybe entering or being smarter about what you get on. If you are going to go, I don't know what your client had going on throughout that summer, Logan, but 50% of it is what he's getting on, right? And so you may have just had one of those summers where you just didn't draw. And that's just part of the game. That's gambling in rodeo. But in regular life, in day-to-day life, with business, with goals, with family, whatever it is, go back to those fundamentals where you were in a really good place. What got you to the place that you're remembering that you're comparing this bad time to? And I didn't always, but these last couple of years, it's been on one of my personal development lists, is to be more present and be more consistent in and feeling like that, and feeling like I'm on top of my game, and feeling happy, and not letting little things in life get dirt on my sucker. Like you said, you've got to stick to the fundamentals. And so if it's bareback riding, bull riding, roping, goat tying, there's only 4 or 5 fundamentals tops that you have to do in each event during each run to be successful at it. The other part of that depends on the animal, what they do, how they react, whatever. If you just continue to hammer and be perfect at those fundamentals, it's going to pay off. It's when we start second guessing that and trying to change things that we falter, or we fall short of what our goals are, or it takes a lot longer to get back on track to what our goals are, right? I've been there. I've done that a million times. This isn't working, try this. This isn't working, try this. Like, when I look back at it, I'm just like, you idiot. All you had to do was the things that you learned from the get-go and that you've been practicing the whole time. Just stick to that. Stick to the fundamentals. Get back to the basics. What were you doing when you were doing good, riding good, feeling good, business was good, life was good, family was good, whatever it was? That's not happening right now. That's making you feel like this is a lesser time than what you know is possible. So hopefully that helped. Gonna thank our sponsors real quick when we wrap this up. Beastmaster Rodeo been with us since the beginning, and we do have a new discount code for you. Brand new year means new discount codes. What? And this one is not case sensitive. You can type it in however the hell you want. Champion Living, all one word. 24 is going to be the last 2 digits on there. You can save 10% at beastmasterrodeo.com. And Huey, always rocking Huey. I got to get me one of those Sages hats. I love that thing every time I see you wearing it. But yes, and check out Huey at getyourhuey.com. Use our discount code Champion Living. All one word, is not case sensitive as well. Going to save you 10% on all your Huey gear. I know we've been saying we're having a new sponsor coming up. I am getting close to releasing that. So we'll be releasing that next couple days here. Guys, until next time, we'll catch you later.